Headlines this hour, the Blues coach takes aim at his biggest critic.
He's in his own misery and so be it.
Genninger gives to Miller 2 thumbs up.
He's obviously full of confidence on the back of the Super Rugby season and having played in the final as well.
Hughes wants his number 3 spot back.
I feel like I'm hitting the ball very well in the nets, but it is only nets that at the end of the day it's about, I suppose, getting out there and doing it in the middle.
And the perfect 10 that had the world champ in trouble in Tahiti.
Deep in the tube. Wow. And coming out is Anthony Walsh.
Brisbane caretaker Mark Harvey says he has no interest in a return to the full-time coaching. Harvey will see out the season in the Lions' top job, a role reversal from when he was axed by Fremantle back in 2011.
He's taken the reins in a similar way to how they were taken off him at Fremantle, with all the talk still surrounding the imminent arrival of Paul Roos. But if that doesn't happen, Mark Harvey is not the man for the top job after pulling his hat out of the ring.
No, I'm happy being a senior assistant and strategy and list management and to go down that path.
Harvey suggesting that Michael Voss had his tenure cruelly cut short and that he deserved a chance to continue with a developing Lions list.
I thought...
Some good news for the West Coast Eagles, with ruckman Dean Cox re-signing for another year, meaning he could break the club's games record next season. The 2006 Premiership star and 6-time All-Australian has played every game for the Eagles this year and is just 6 games shy of Glenn Jakovic's mark of 276 games for the Eagles. Their NRL finals hopes may be over, but Penrith's Isaac John says the Panthers will act as playoff spoilers to other top 8 hopefuls. Rugby League correspondent Steve Hart caught up with John, who expects a frosty reception against his former teammates, the Warriors, when they meet on Sunday.
Well, it is tough times for the Panthers, but a player who's been travelling pretty well, Isaac John, he joins me now. You've been happy with your form?
I think last couple of weeks we've really struggled, and I think you dictate your personal form on how the team's going, and so if you're basing off the last couple of weeks, probably no.
Yeah, it is a disappointing scenario the last few weeks, but when you look at the Warriors, I think he scored a hat-trick last time you met him.
A surprising admission from the West Tigers half, Braithen Astor, who revealed it hurts watching his old club, the Sydney Roosters, doing so well. And Astor will face his former teammates for the first time at Allianz Stadium on Monday night. While the Tigers remain serious contenders for the Wooden Spoon, the Bondi boys sit pretty atop the NRL ladder.
A little bit, but it's not something I've thought about, you know. You get so entrenched in your own world and playing at the Tigers and being a Tigers man now, so, you know, I look at them and I'm happy for the way they're doing. They're killing it, but it's no surprise to me either. You know, you look at the playing roster they had before. They bought Maloney, Williams and Jennings, and I thought it was strong at that stage. So to add them 3 to it and O'Donnell, you know, it's no surprise to see how good they're going. And
Keen to showcase his new boots for the Close the Gap round, Lottie Takiri makes his long-awaited return after breaking his arm more than a year ago. The veteran remained tight-lipped on his playing future, instead focused on snapping the Tigers' 5-game losing streak.
I'll make too much of a difference, but, you know, I'm coming back and I'm really excited to be playing back in the NRL, and it's going to be a great test for us. And, you know, it's not only a test for us, but a test for them as well. You know, they want to go into the finals playing some good footy.
Michael Clarke will be rested for Australia's 2-day tour match against the England Lions, starting tonight in Northampton, with Shane Watson back as skipper. Fresh from losing the Ashes, the match will serve as a chance to regain some much-needed confidence ahead of next week's 5th test.
It was disappointing, obviously, the last test match to get that result. It was, you know, we're in prime position really throughout the whole test match, and I suppose it was disappointing to get that at the end, but you know, we had a real good talk about that as a unit, and now it's about looking forward and looking to get better, and Darren's big on that. He's looked to keep improving, and I think the good thing now is we've got a 2-day hit out starting tomorrow, and all the boys are pumped for it.
Hughes is hoping to press his claims for inclusion, possibly at the expense of Usman Khawaja at number 3.
I'm hitting the ball very well in the nets, but it is only the nets that at the end of the day, it's about, I suppose, getting out there and doing it in the middle. And look, I feel very confident. I feel like I've scored some runs in, I suppose, the county fixtures. That's been in and around the test matches. And look, tomorrow's just another hit out for all of us, and I'm keen, and hopefully I can get as many runs as possible and just put my name in front of the selectors. And look, you never know what they'll do for the 5th test, so hopefully I'll be in that team, but we'll just wait and see.
Along with Clark, Peter Siddle, Brad Haddon, Ryan Harris, Chris Rogers and Jackson Bird have been left out of the match. England will be without Tim Bresnan for the final test at the Oval because of a lower back injury. The injury is pretty serious, with Bresnan no guarantee to be fit for the Return Ashes series in Australia. The paceman has taken 10 wickets at just under 30 and been handy with the bat since replacing Steve Finn ahead of the 2nd test. Finn and Chris Tremlett are the contenders to replace Bresnan. Rafael Nadal will face Roger Federer for the 31st time tomorrow morning, with the pair joining the other members of the Big Four in the quarterfinals of the Cincinnati Masters. Nadal didn't have it all his own way against Bulgaria's Grigor Dimitrov.
Oh, that's big time!
Despite dropping the 2nd set, Nadal powered through to win his career-best 12th straight hard-court match and book a showdown with his old nemesis Federer in the last 8. The going a little easier for world number 1 Novak Djokovic, who wasted little time sweeping aside qualifier David Goffin. The Serb dropped just 2 games on his way to the quarters, where he'll meet world number 22 Josh Isner. World number 2 Andy Murray also progressing in an impressive fashion. The Wimbledon champ barely raising a sweat against Frenchman Julien Benneteau. A tougher challenge awaits him in the quarters though. He'll face off against world number 6 Thomas Berdych. US Open rain delays at Arthur Ashe Stadium will be no more by 2017, with the USTA announcing the court will get a retractable roof.
I think part of it
comes after the men's final was delayed to Monday, each of the last 5 years.
Sometimes when other people have one and you wish that you had one as well and you wanted to make it happen. So we're fortunate now that we've figured that out.
The plans will also see the Louis Armstrong and Grandstand courts rebuilt, with a retractable roof also added to the former Australian Open and Wimbledon have covered stadium courts, while the French Open plans to have a retractable roof on its main court by 2018. World champion Joel Parkinson heads the list of Aussies through to the 3rd round of the Billabong Pro in Tahiti. With Taj Burrow the first big-name casualty, Kelly Slater is also through, jagging a winning wave in the last 30 seconds of his first round heat at the world-famous Tiahupu.
Even when it isn't at its breathtaking best, Chopu still dishes up moments to remember.
Deep in the tube. Wow. And coming out is Anthony Walsh.
A perfect 10 in the bag for the Aussie wildcard, and the reigning world champion was worried.
After that, I was like, oh, here we go. This is going to be a battle of 9s and 10s, and my 2 8s. I was like, oh, this ain't going to be enough.
In the end, it was consistency getting Joel Parkinson into round 3. Kelly Slater got through by, well, being Kelly Slater.
This is his chance. Drops in, Pig Dogs. Now is this thing open?
After the break, we go one-on-one with All Blacks coach Steve Hansen, plus preview this weekend's English Premier League kickoff. And hold your drinks, a 1 in a million golf shot is coming your way.
Oh my goodness! Oh, good throw, sir. Somebody thought that's not an ice cube. They won't want that in my cocktail. Threw it back on the green.